Silk, perfume, golden palaces. Sounds like a dream? Wrong. Being a concubine in Imperial China was luxury on the outside and prison on the inside. Today we'll see why it sucked to be a concubine. And spoiler, there's no happy ending. Number 8. Stolen childhood. For many, life started way too soon. Teenage girls were handed over to the palace. Childhood ended before it even began. While other kids still played in the streets, you were already training posture, soft speech, and fake smiles. It was like skipping 5th grade and going straight into a full-time job. Except this job had no paycheck, no vacation, and no end. Playtime was replaced with protocols. Dolls became musical instruments. Family became a memory. And if you broke a rule, punishment. It didn't matter that you were still a child. The palace called it opportunity. You'd call it unpaid internship at the worst company on earth, with a boss who literally had the power of life and death. Childhood was traded for silk, makeup, and fear. Adulthood came way too early, along with the certainty that you'd never have a choice. Number 7. Beauty was your prison. Beauty decided your fate. Families gifted daughters to the emperor. Pretty, you stayed. Average, you went back home stamped as disposable. But being chosen wasn't victory. It was sentencing. Inside the palace, your life became display. Perfect posture, fake smiles, trained silence. You weren't a person anymore. You were human furniture. It's like winning Miss Universe, and instead of a crown, you get life in prison. The more perfect you were, the less human you became. Your body became jewelry. Your voice became nothing. And when you aged, bad luck. There was always a younger upgrade waiting. The Empire called it honor. You'd call it being locked inside an Apple Store display case with no off button. Beauty was your ticket in. It was also the key that locked the cage. And once inside, your life became a game no one ever won. Number 6. Deadly competition. In the palace, every concubine was a rival. Hundreds of women fighting for one man's attention. Friendship, fake, smiles, knives in disguise. It was like living in The Bachelor, but the contract included the death penalty. Here, losing didn't mean crying in the limo. It meant disappearing. Rumors spread like wildfire. Eunuchs spread gossip like office co-workers, except one whisper could end your life. Families outside bribed their way into influence, pushing rivals down the ladder. You survived by following unwritten rules. Talk less, watch everything, never relax. One look could be evidence. One word could be a sentence. And the emperor? He watched it all like a bored Netflix viewer. Competition kept everyone submissive. It was like working at Amazon with 500 interns fighting for one job. But in this LinkedIn Live, failing your pitch didn't mean losing the offer. It meant vanishing. Number 5. Poison in the tea. Even tea was dangerous. Concubines schemed like it was a game of Among Us. Except here, when you got voted out, you never respawned. Eunuchs sold secrets. Rumors destroyed reputations overnight. Trust? Non-existent. Imagine holding a teacup not knowing if it's your last sip. The smell seemed normal. The taste seemed fine. But the doubt never left. Every sip was polite Russian roulette. Sleeping in silk didn't mean waking up safe. The danger was inside the palace walls, sometimes in the food, sometimes under the pillow. You develop survival hacks, switch cups, fake a stomachache, avoid suspicious banquets. But there was no antivirus against envy, no firewall against jealousy. It was like working in a WeWork where even the free cold brew felt suspicious. And in the end, surviving dinner felt like beating a glitchy video game. You didn't know how, but you were just glad to still be alive. Number 4. Prisoner of luxury. From the outside, the palace looked like paradise. From the inside, it was a cell. Concubines never left. Family, gone. Streets, off limits. Freedom, deleted. Your world was hallways, courtyards, and staged gardens. Perfumed rooms, overloaded banquets, dresses as expensive as a Tesla. All of it dazzled. None of it freed you. It was like living in a 5-star hotel where checkout didn't exist. Letters were screened, visits monitored, conversations measured. Privacy was a fairy tale. You studied music, dance, calligraphy, but freedom wasn't part of the curriculum. The moon became your only window to the outside world. You looked at it and dreamed. But dreams were all you had, because the palace wasn't home. It was a luxury prison, or worse, a gated community where the HOA could literally execute you for stepping on the wrong lawn. Number 3. No future, no choice. Being a concubine was like signing a lifetime contract with no exit. You belonged to the palace until death. Marriage, forbidden. Family, impossible. Future, decided by someone else. Even if you dodged intrigue, time erased you. The emperor aged, new girls arrived, you became forgotten decoration. It was like having a job with no resignation, no retirement, and the only promotion was being forgotten slower. Some had children, but few were recognized. Most died with no name remembered. The palace erased identities like people delete old Facebook posts. Old age didn't bring peace. It brought loneliness, endless corridors, echoing footsteps, silence where family should have been. Luxury glittered, but the ending was emptiness. Being a concubine wasn't glory. It was the first eternal contract in history. Number 2. The danger of pleasing too much. Being the favorite looked like success, but it was a trap. The higher you climbed, the harder the fall. Beloved today, forgotten tomorrow, one mistake, and the emperor was done. And when he was done, no one dared defend you. Favoritism gave perks, but it also painted a target on your back. It was like gaining 1 million TikTok followers overnight and waking up canceled the next morning. The fall always started quietly, a cold look, fewer invites, closed doors, silence, until the court acted like you never existed. You tried to be sweet without overdoing it, visible but discreet. But there was no formula when the emperor's moods flipped faster than a social media algorithm. Being the favorite didn't mean safety. It meant everyone was waiting for your crash. It was like becoming a viral trend, shiny for 48 hours, until the crowd started rooting for your downfall. And in the palace, no one skipped that show. Number 1. The final price. In the end, almost all concubines ended the same way. Alone, forgotten, no family, no recognized children, no legacy. Some died in silence, others in political purges. The palace never stopped. The music played. The garden bloomed, as if nothing had happened. That was luxury's cruelest trick, swallowing tragedy without leaving a stain. The records remembered dates, festivals, and ceremonies, but never people. One day you arrived, the next, you were gone, and life went on. The destiny wasn't glory, it was anonymity. Glitter outside, emptiness inside. It was like going viral for 15 seconds on TikTok and being erased right after, seen by many, remembered by no one. Even the powerful concubines ended forgotten. The machine replaced everyone. The end was always the same. Silence. Being a concubine wasn't a fairy tale. It was theater. You smiled under bright lights, but the audience never remembered your name once the curtain fell. Still think living surrounded by silk and perfume was a dream? Or would you rather have a tiny apartment with the freedom to order pizza at 2 a.m.? Being a concubine in Imperial China wasn't luxury. It was prison with fancy curtains. You were seen, but never remembered. And in the end, the only certainty was being forgotten. The gold glittered, but the lives behind it faded. So tell me, would you survive in that palace? Or would you beg to leave on day one? Drop your answer in the comments and subscribe. Here, at least, the only poison is sarcasm, and the only competition is for the next video.